Today is July 17th, 2022. Current Bitcoin price is $21,018.21.
Welcome to the BitBite podcast, your source for news and information about Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space. This podcast is meant for educational and entertainment purposes only, and is not financial advice.
What's going on, Rick?
Oh, another day.
So,
A few more shekels.
yeah, a few more shekels. We saw CPI numbers come out. Were you shocked at all?
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was going to be worse than before, but I think my prediction, I said 8.8, 8.9, something like that.
Yeah, and I think
the fact that-
that's what most people were predicting.
Yeah. I mean, it just shows that, even with all the interest rate increases, which it's not like they're really going to do much, but it's just picking up steam. It's not slowing down at all.
Yeah. No, I thought that was a very. I think I messaged you that morning as soon as I heard it. The 9.1, and I was
Yep.
pretty flabbergasted. And the markets initially, like Bitcoin especially, I want to say like the stock markets, I don't think they've recovered as the way that Bitcoin did, but Bitcoin really dropped as soon as that number came out. And honestly, that's how I kind of figured out that the CPI numbers must have printed. It was because I was watching the price that morning, and then all of a sudden it tanked, and I was like, "Oh, I bet you CPI came out." And so I checked, and sure enough, CPI was listed. And but I mean, by that afternoon, we were back above 20 again, right?
Exactly.
And now we're approaching our weekly close, and it looks like, I think the weekly close, we've got about 2 more hours, and it looks like we're going to close probably in the realm of about 21,000, maybe a little bit higher, maybe a little bit lower. I don't know. We'll have to see how that's going to play out. But it was, I guess it was higher than I was expecting, and I really thought, because from when we were talking on the last episode, I really thought that they may start to kind of try and taper the numbers.
Well,
that
that basket of numbers is kind of BS anyway. I mean, you can do all sorts of things with smoke and mirrors, right? It depends on which numbers you look at.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, me. I mean, honestly, I think our actual inflation rate's got to be closer to 20%.
Yeah.
If not, higher, depending on what you're buying. Just general livings, everything's 20% more than was last year.
Oh, easily, yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, they're showing 9.1%. So I do think they are fudging the numbers, but even with whatever metric they're using, they can't hide what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess part of what I'm thinking is, and I could be completely wrong off this, because we've talked about the midterm elections coming up. I think going into the end of this summer, I think what they're going to try and do is they're going to try and be like, oh, well, that was peak inflation. And I really still feel like they're going to try and fudge the numbers in some way, shape, or form. We may see another increase. Do you think the Fed will increase again? Because they're supposed to have another meeting, I think, this week or this coming week.
Yeah. My guess, or my thoughts on what will happen, is they're going to come back and they're going to probably increase it by a full percentage, 100 basis points.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah. Well, that's what I think they're going to do. And then at a certain point, when the wheels of the economy start grinding to a halt, they're going to basically reverse course.
Well, and that's kind of the scary thing. And one of the things that I was looking at with the euro and the yen, because they're both falling so hard. The euro is almost at dollar parity, and the yen is it is slipping so bad. And if that continues to happen that way, it may cause the Fed to actually have to print again, just because, to prevent the death spiral of the debt. Because I mean, if you get
Yeah.
that much slippage in those economies, like, and that's kind of where I was thinking. I was like, I bet you we'll start to see a tapering in fuel prices, and that could be done to where the government releases some strategic reserves kind of behind the scenes where we don't really see it.
Well, they did, and they shipped it to China.
No. I know that, but you know what I'm saying? They're going to release it to the public. Like we're not going to know that they release it to the public. It's going to
Yeah.
drop the prices of the gasoline, and then they'll be like, "Oh, well, inflation peaked," and it's just a temporary Band-Aid thing just to get that money printing going again, get asset prices up, and get us through midterm elections.
I wouldn't put anything past anybody these days.
I mean,
It's all
go ahead.
it's all a game. It's all a game. It's all lies. I mean, we've heard all this stuff like inflation isn't an issue. That inflation is going to be transitory. They've not been honest with us at all for as long as I can remember. But it's just been pure lies and dribble the past couple of years. So I wouldn't put it past anybody in the positions of power to try and do whatever they can.
Yeah. I mean, and we've seen some reduction. I mean, I wouldn't say we've seen a huge reduction at the gas tank, but lumber's starting to come down a little bit.
Yeah, well, the housing market's starting to crash. I don't know if you've seen different markets are starting to, lose. They're starting to shave off 10% of their asking price.
They've got to. I mean, interest rates keep on going up. Who wants to buy a house right now?
Exactly.
I mean, when you could have bought it, just basically a few months ago for like 2.25% interest on a 30-year note, and now we're looking at double that almost. I mean, 5 to almost 6%, 5.5 to 6.
Yeah, it's more than double.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. Why would you want to? I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're looking to make a long-term buy, so you have to buy something, right? So yeah, we'll see that reduction in the asset prices. What do you think we're going to close this week at? Where do you think we're going to end up?
I was so wrong last week. I'm almost hesitant to make a prediction because I thought that interest rates would come up and then it would drop our price lower. But do you think we're turning the corner on Bitcoin to where people are going to start trying to seek something to hedge against inflation?
Well, and it's kind of interesting you say that because like Jordan Belfort, he was, if you're familiar with him, he's the Wolf of Wall Street. He was the one that was characterized by Leonardo DiCaprio in the movie. He did a complete 180 on Bitcoin. About a year ago, he was like, it's worthless. It's not going to do anything. And he's saying that for the cryptocurrency space, he doesn't feel like he was really wrong, except for on Bitcoin and Ethereum. He said that those you could buy those now and you're going to make crazy money on them, which is kind of interesting.
I hope he's right.
Yeah, I don't know where everything's going to go. I was going to look at the S&P, see where that's at in the NASDAQ. And I don't know what the price is going to end up doing. I mean, we need a relief rally. I've been talking about that a little bit, saying that we need something to come back up. And I could really see a relief rally. I could see where we go up to $28,000 if, things kind of continue as they are. It depends on what this close is really too.
Yeah.
I mean, the Dow's up 2.15%, Nasdaq's up 1.79%, S&P 500's up 1.92%. I mean, the markets are showing some strength right now, which is kind of odd, based off what we've seen, especially because we knew, every time that we had the CPI numbers come out, the stock markets dropped, and then the Fed was going to come in and everybody was afraid that they were going to raise interest rates. But it's not acting that way like they're going to raise interest rates right now.
Yeah. This market is so crazy. I mean, it's just everyone's just waiting for the shoe to drop. We know it's coming. We're just kind of in this weird limbo moment. So, I still think long-term Bitcoin is, in my personal opinion, I think it's going to go up long-term. But in the short term, it's still going to act crazy.
Yeah.
And I think, I really am kind of concerned about some of the major exchanges. Like, I mean, at what point does Coinbase falter?
Yeah.
Definitely don't have your coins on there if you can help it.
Yeah, I will always advocate for self custody, but some people just don't want that responsibility. I mean, that's true of a lot of people. I mean, it's let's be honest, it's not exactly an easy thing to do. It's not hard, but it takes that's a lot of responsibility to take that on for yourself.
Yeah. Well, it was pretty nerve wracking.
Something that's kind of interesting talking about that, self custody thing. The New York Yankees, I don't know if you heard about this or not, that they're going to start offering for their employees a way to kind of basically hedge or save money in Bitcoin. However, if you do that, like they'll allow you to do paycheck deductions to just start investing, almost like an employee stock purchase plan, but for Bitcoin. However, they will not let you self custody or transfer the Bitcoin. They'll hold it themselves. They will not let you hold it.
Well, that's interesting. I mean, yeah, at least they're going that step.
Yeah, I mean it's a step towards more mass adoption kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's I don't know.
But if it's not your keys, it's not your money. It's
Yep.
not your Bitcoin.
Not your keys, not your crypto. It's pretty crazy. So I'm gonna say the weekly close is gonna happen to 21.5 is what I think we're gonna see by the end of today for the close, and then I think we may see a relief rally where we get up to 28,000 within the next few weeks.
That's an interesting take. I'm going to go the opposite direction. I'm going to say this week it's going to close around 21, maybe 25, somewhere in there. And I'm just waiting for the GDP reports because I think that's going to cause a lot of pain
Oh yeah,
in the market all around.
yeah. I mean, because at that point when that GDP comes out showing for Q2, we're officially in a recession.
Yep. I mean, we are officially in a recession. It's just everyone's going to not be able to ignore it.
Right. Well,
Sure.
I mean, that's the thing, though. I mean, it's not official until they say, "Oh, we're in a recession," even though we already know we are. There's no way that we're not.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Even though the White House press secretary says we don't see a recession on the horizon, we don't know what you're talking about. We make the babies comfortable.
Before we slit their throats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lambs to slaughter.
Yeah. No, well, that's the thing. The press secretary, I mean, those people are just paid political hacks that lie for whoever's in power.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't care. And this isn't a party thing, right? They're going to bullshit you on either side.
No,
Pardon my
every
French.
administration, that's basically their whole deal is they just lie for whoever has them up there. Mm-hmm. Or dance around issues or circle back. We'll circle back to that. And it's like, yeah, we're not coming back to that at all.
We'll bookmark that and we'll come back to that later.
Whatever you say, Mrs. Chucky.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of curious. I'm curious what's going to play out. This, I totally did not. I expected after we saw that drop, I did not expect Bitcoin to start to rally back up again. However, we've got to see that close. We've got to that close above like that $21,000 mark, and then we may have a little bit more strength to keep on going higher. Don't get me wrong. When I say 28,000, I don't think that it's going to be like, oh, we're going back bull market. And we're going to recover. I think we may see another drop again, but I just think there may be a relief rally in there.
You know, it'd be kind of nice if it did consolidate at a higher price than 20.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit higher than 20, but it's kind of moving up a little bit. So it's the general direction lately has been good. We'll see if we can keep some of that momentum, though.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, really, you got to figure the people that were selling, they've got to be kind of running out, and the people that are buying at this level continue to kind of be there. So there's got to be some short squeezes that are going to happen. Possibly it's going to go in the opposite direction, but we'll just have to kind of wait and see how that plays.
Yep.
So,
Interesting times.
yeah, we're going to have to reconvene on this, especially after we see what the Fed announces they're going to do with interest rates. We'll have to meet back up again. But I am going to be gone the rest of this week. I will be back Saturday evening. So we'll have to kind of play it by ear and see where we go from there. But if we can, we'll try and get together beforehand. I mean, especially once the Fed meeting happens, like it's going to be, I want to have that discussion with you. So,
Absolutely.
do you have anything else you want to bring up?
No, that's it for now.
Cool. Well, I hope everybody's still stacking some sats. I mean, keep buying. If you're a believer, if you're not a believer in Bitcoin, it's not financial advice, then don't. But I think it's a good path for the future. So, and nobody that's been holding Bitcoin for more than 2 years at a time is underwater. So just keep that in mind. Thank you all for listening. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.